I want to talk about Tefillat Minha and why it's forbidden to pray Minha after sunset. I want to read the Teshuvah of Harav Ovadia Yosef. I'm going to read parts of it to show how really you cannot rely on it. Not because we don't love Harav Ovadia Yosef, we don't respect him. I love Harav Ovadia Yosef, I respect him tremendously. But this is the nature of Torah. The nature of Torah is that if you study a Pesach of someone and you see that there are things in the Pesach that don't make sense or that are not quite clear, well, the Torah requires us to read it and to say, no, this is not something that we follow. Harav Ovadia Yosef, how do I learn that? I learned that from Harav Ovadia Yosef, because Harav Ovadia Yosef himself, he disagreed with the Ben Ish Chai, and he actually got into hot water because he would disagree with the Ben Ish Chai. It was very popular back then, and many people didn't like that. So from Harav Ovadia Yosef, I learned that we can disagree with Harav Ovadia Yosef. And if there's a mistake in his Pesach, we're going to say, and any Mevin, I don't understand it. And if I don't understand it, I have an obligation to follow what I do understand. So I want to read to you Harambam again. It's just like so crystal clear. By the way, Harambam, there was no writer in the history of Judaism, I think, that wrote more eloquently, more precisely, and more clearly than Harambam. So Harambam is writing these words. So the question is as follows. We know that the times of Tefillat Mincha, the Gemara says, are parallel to the times of the Korbanot, or the Korban Mincha. In this case, the Korban Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim. So we know that the time that the Hachamim set for the prayer of Mincha is parallel to the time that the Hachamim set for the Korban Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim. I want to read to you what the Halakha says about Korban Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim, when and it's actually it's a law that applies to all the Korbanot. It says as follows: Perek Daled, Hilchot Maaseh Korbanot, Perek Daled Halakha Aleph, Kol HaKorbanot en makrivin otan ela b'yom. Any korban, there are no korbanot at nighttime. It's forbidden to bring a korban at night. Shene'emar b'yom savoto et bnei Yisrael lehakriv et korbanehem. Now you look, the diuk as the pasuk says, on the day that God instructed the Jewish people to bring the korbanot. So the diuk is you only bring korbanot on the day, you don't bring korbanot at night. B'yom velo b'layla. There's nothing ambiguous about Rambam here. I'm sorry. Lefichach en shochatim zevachim ela bayom. You only make the shechita and the korbanot in the daytime. Ve'en zorikim damim ela beyom hashechita. When you do the zerikat adam, it has to be the same day that you made the shechita. On that day, beyom hashechita. Is there anything ambiguous here? Did Rambam confuse us? Is there something confusing here? No, it's really crystal clear, like anything Harambam wrote. Shene'emar beyom hakirivo etzivcha. Again, the word daytime. How many times do you have to repeat the word daytime, right? I mean, bayom, bayom, bayom. I'm just counting it. Bayom, bayom, right? 5 times, 6 times, bayom, 7 times. Wow, 7 times in the same halacha. Beyom hakirivo etzivcha. Beyom hazericha tiyeh hakrava. Vechevan sheshaka hama. It says, and once the sun sets, Nifsal Adam, it's pasul. Just so you understand, it's not a simple law. It's not like, oh, well, you can kind of do it after sunset. I'll give you an example. If a person makes shahita on the korban, and at the time he makes the shahita, in his mind he says, I'm going to do the zerikat adam after sunset. He's hayav karet. It's pigul. Okay, you want to say, between after sunset and Tzedek Kochavim, is safek hashecha, safek ena hashecha. Okay, so it's safek karet, safek no karet. So you bring korban asham talui. I'm sure, did he do korban? It's not a simple law, right? So now I want to read to you what Harav Ovadia Yosef says. This is in Yehavedah, Siman Kafbet, Amud Chof. Harambam says, Vehine Harambam, he quotes Harambam, he reads Harambam, he quotes Harambam, I already read Harambam, I don't have to read it again. And then he says, והשאגת אריה הוכיח במישור מלשון הרמב"ם שכתב ביום ולא בלילה, שלא מיעט אלא לילה בלבד. The Shagat Aryeh says that when the Rambam wrote daytime, he meant to say that you can't bring it at night, but you can bring it ben Hashem Ashot. I don't know. Harambam's right. I'm writing it again. Kol hakorbanot en makavim otam ela bayom. What's ambiguous about Harambam? So you're going to rely on this reading of Harambam, that when Harambam said daytime, he really meant to say that you shouldn't bring it at night. But if it's Ben Hashem Ashot, it's okay. Where does Harambam write that? I don't see it. Do you see it? Please, leave me a comment if you see it. I'm curious. I want to learn something. What am I missing? So Harav Yosef brings us, and it continues and continues and continues. That really Rambam meant nighttime, meaning that you can't do the Zerikat Adam at night. But if you do it Ben Hashem Hashot, it's okay. So why didn't Harambam write Ben Hashem Hashot? Why did Harambam confuse us? Was Harambam sloppy? Does Harambam not know how to write? Does Harambam not know how to communicate? Mechila, I'm sorry, I can't rely on this Pesach. I cannot rely on this Pesach because he's misquoting Harambam. Now, if Harav Yosef was to walk into the room, I would kiss his hand. I'd be the first one to run, kiss his hand, and ask him for a beracha. That doesn't mean that I have to read his Pesach and, Kazera Eve Kadesh. No, we don't have to do that. I'm reading the Pesach. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Right? And then, there's a lot of things they say about Harambam here. Why? Poor Harambam. When do you do this? He says, I don't have to read Harambam. I won't say, they did the same thing with Rashi, Chazit. I guess Harambam was started to share, so that to get a Frank, Rashi also, Ashkenaz. He was still Fatih. But seriously, I'm going to tell you what they say about Rashi. Rashi in Masechet Menachot, also very simple Rashi. Rashi is explaining the Gemara in Masechet Menachot, Daf Kaf, and they bring Rashi, and they misinterpret Rashi. Here, I'm going to read to you the words of Rashi. Rashi in Masechet Menachot, Dam Nifsal Bishki'at Hachama. What does Rashi say? That at the moment the sun sets, the dam is pasul. You can't do zerikat adam on the mizbeach anymore. And the reason is because you cannot do zerikat adam at night, because the night is the next day. Ben Hashem Hashot is safek yom safek laila. I'm giving you a pastrami sandwich. It could be bacon. Safek bacon, safek kosher. You're going to eat it? You're going to eat the safek? No. So what are you going to say? You're going to say that Rashi, when he said Eno niklav ela balayla, he meant to say, well, that's what they say. You can only if it's brought at night, that badai it's pasul, then the korban is no good. And why is Ben Hashem Hashot okay? It's safek yom safek laila. So how do you read this in Rashi? The whole reading of Rashi, I'm sorry. I'm going to read Rashi again. Dam nifsal bishki'at hama. He says it. The statement, the statement is just like Harambam. And what's the reason? The reason is because if you do it after Shekiyat Hama, Ben Hashem Hashot, it's Safek Yom Safek Laila, and then the Dam, the Zerikat Adam, is the next day. And the Zerikat Adam has to be the same day as the Shechita. You understand? So Rashi is explaining why are we mahmirim that Dam is nifsal b'shkiat ha'hamam mepenesh on ra'ul hizarek palal. So they say no. So what Rashi meant to say is that dam nifsal ben Hashem Hashot b'tzet hakochavim. But Rashi didn't write that. Chazit, why are you doing this to Rashi? What did Rashi do to deserve this? Right? So again, I can't rely on this Pesach. Mechila. The same way I cannot rely on the Pesach about to return land for peace. Elohim Mishmor. Why? How did that work out? I can't rely on every Pesach that every Hacham writes. If I understand the law, and I studied the law, and there were great Hachamim that wrote the law in a clear language, right? And then there was an attempt here to somehow say that when the Rashi said Yom Shkiat Hama, he meant Laila, and when Harambam wrote Yom 7 times in the same halacha, he meant Laila. I can't rely on that, Mechila. And I don't know how anybody in good conscience can pray Minha when Harambam and Rashi explicitly state that the time is over. So, beracha levatala, 19 berachot levatala. Forget about the fact that you're not praying. They mevatel Minha, but berachot levatala. I'm not sure how anybody can do this with good conscience. Now, if you can explain to me why I am wrong, why Harav Yosef is correct, Adrabah, I want to learn. Explain to me, what did I misread in Harav Yosef? Explain to me, what is it about the reading of Harambam that I didn't say? You mentioned the word Yom 7 times in the same halacha, and where I misunderstood the word Yom, and I'd be happy. I would kiss your hand and say thank you.